So this could actually be damaging eventually for the people whose names have been published.
Of course, it will be.
The people who say it's not working, that's jumping to conclusions too early.
One thing is it depends on the company, it depends on the individual. They can explain it away, that look, who doesn't owe? Even government. I say government is owing me. Let them pay me. And that's the truth. Government is the biggest debtor. If federal government can just pay off the domestic debt they owe alone, it has a way of influencing the whole economy. The banks will have money, businesses can expand, then interest rate can also come down, the naira could be strengthened.
But their debts are guaranteed, and the people who buy the country's debts, reap handsomely as well.
But again, you see, that's one opportunity. And I've been thinking, I've been planning, because I know it works. When I was in Canada, I know it works. They have people that actually, their business is to recover loans. Be it student loan, be it all kinds of monies that are not, all these banks. It's an opportunity.
We have AMCON.
No, AMCON is just that these are private people. What would they do? I set up a firm that will help you, all these banks. I know that, yes, in the next 1 or 2 years, it could be a written debt. You write off the debt. Now, what do? I pay you a percent. I buy off the debt. I buy it off you. And I pay you a percentage. Leave it to me. It's my business to recover the money. People have become billionaires doing exactly that. Why are we not? It's just I can't do everything myself. But anybody, any entrepreneur that is willing to, I can sit down. I know how it works. I can sit down and tell you, this is the way it works. And then, of course, you have to make me chairman of that company.
What about the forex restriction policy of the CBN? How do you see that being effective?
I think it's just short-term thinking, and I was surprised, and you don't use short-term solutions for a long-term problem. You need to think strategically. At the end, I'm surprised that I heard the CBN governor the other day lamenting, and I quite agree with him, about the industries that used to be Papa Oshodi and all these companies, and it's all based on government policy. Now, what the CBN should do is focus on making sure that every dollar that comes in, every pound that comes in, is documented. You know the source. And you control. You see, they're using their hands to create a problem. And then now use another way to also find a way of solving the problem. It's not the solution.
Why do you say they are using their hands to create a problem?
No, it's even their foreign, their exchange policy. The receipts, you now create a naira for it and give out naira. The inflation that you're trying to fight, you have excess naira in the market because you created, instead of disbursing the dollar, whoever is entitled to a dollar, give the person the dollar. Let the person go to the bank and begin to negotiate rates. Rather than you having monopoly of the exchange. So you create naira equivalent, and then when you bring out this dollar that the dollars have come in, you don't even bring everything. You now keep some. You determine the rate that you're going to buy, the rate you're going to pay. Now you're crying that so much liquidity in the market. You go to the treasury bills, increase the interest rate, mop up these funds. So it's double costs.
But part of what the CBN, the statement they released over the weekend about this was that there was this report by the Global Financial Integrity Group, which ranked Nigeria 10th largest country for illicit financial flow. And therein they said about 15.7 billion goes through our system annually. So this restriction will, to some extent, help reduce all of those and don't make us a transit country.
No, you see, one thing again is, once you have institutions that can monitor all of this, like I said earlier, then all this illicit this thing, if you declare a source of your this thing, you allow this monies to come in for as long as you can, the source. Nigeria is a developing country. There are some policies that will work over there. And they will, sometimes, these people, you have to understand how this developed world work. Sometimes it will just, because they might not want to, they come up with, okay, don't do this, because it's this. It's their interest. Now, the mounting pressure on the, for instance, mounting pressure on the Naira, that Naira should be devalued. It's of their own interest. You bring in less dollar, it becomes a huge amount in Naira, and you use it, it benefits them. So the thing is this, we need to begin to stand up for ourselves. We don't allow people to run the economy. Most of these people want something, they say, okay, it works over there. It's not necessary, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work here. Let all these monies, because our current account balance is better we have a deficit. In the sense, let all these monies come in instead of our own, the dollars and all that going out.
So you support the CBN policy?
Of this money? No, I don't. What I'm saying is that not accepting dollar in this thing, it will not solve the problem. There'll be other uses, other avenues where people can. You can keep your money. The dollar doesn't expire. You can keep it until the policy changes. You bring out your money. So it doesn't. And that time, the cost or the holding costs, again, you have deprived yourself of that, the proper productive use of that money. So what we're saying is this. I'm a business. I travel out. I go to Malaysia to speak. I'm paid in dollars. I bring it back. You say you will not accept it in my account. When you know the source. And that's why I keep saying that with good documentation, you can track and trace wherever money that comes in. Rather than having a blanket thing, banks should not accept. Okay. You're doing economy, not just, it's the economy that suffers for it.
Let's bring in Ugo Kora for briefly on this matter. He joins us today. Morning, and thank you for joining us. Give us the background to this policy of the CBN about not accepting dollar deposits in banks.
Well, generally, so I just stepped off the plane now. I just got into Lagos, so I wasn't following your discussion. But basically, what we are saying is that I think finally we are wrapping our fingers around the problem with this foreign exchange situation in the country. People just keep cash all over the place, and they're not deploying this cash for the purpose it is meant. Really, cash is not useful in the vault. It is supposed to crank the economy. It's supposed to generate business. And it is now clear that speculators were having a field day. So I think that's just the basic thing. For us, we support what the banks are doing, but it's not like we told the banks what to do. We simply try to tighten some of those leakages, and the banks are saying, look, cash is not useful to us.
But you have many who have also said that at the moment, that policy is a knee-jerk, a short-term basis. They want to achieve the ultimate aim in the long run.
So I think I get that in the short run and long run.
Yes, I mean, the ultimate intention, because a lot of people think that, look, if we don't have manufacturing firms here, no matter the restrictions you put in, the Naira will not be as strong as we would have loved it to be.
That's precisely the point. In the long term, we want Nigeria to be self-reliant. We want our factories to begin to crank up again, to begin to work. We want people to consume locally made goods. And that's the only thing that will generate employment. That's the long-term objective. Right now, what we're saying is so many speculators have put pressure on the currency, and that is not sustainable. And it is very clear now that the fundamentals do not support the weakening of the Naira, that people were hiding dollars in all kinds of places and speculating on our poor Naira. It is very clear now, and that will raise that debate. What do we want for our people? I mean, it's clear that Nigerians cannot survive on just buying and selling foreign exchange and people just putting a few basis points on the charges and the profit they make on their dollar on foreign currency holdings. That, I believe, is at the center of this discussion. What do we want for our people?
What about the genuine businessmen who this policy is going to affect? How do you plan to ensure that they don't get affected in any way?
You can then see now that those who have genuine demand have been crowded out of this system. Right now, CBN is willing and able to meet all legitimate demands, and we have no room for speculators. And we kept warning that speculators will be punished. Finally, they now know what exactly we were talking about, and I don't think people are happy with it.
All right, thank you for talking to us. We know you have to run, but we'll catch up with you much later.
Thank you, Chamberlain.
All right, and then Dr. Austin, also thank you for coming on this morning.
Can I just make a
All
final comment? You know, because the concept of the unholy trinity of exchange, interests, and inflation, you know, they have a way of affecting, playing sometimes at divergent, or sometimes convergent roles in building the economy. You know, because he's talking about only one aspect. When you industrialize, when you have industries, you make a policy that will encourage local industries, manufacturing. It's the same government policy that made it easier for people to import than to manufacture. I have people who have been, I tell them, go back to manufacturing. I say, no, it's easier for them. Just go to China, tell them what you want to bring in. The market is there. So that is the same government policy. Using one hand, right hand to give you life, using the left hand to take that life back.
Okay, thank you for coming on. Dr. Austin Nweze is an economist. We'll be back after the break. We have a different matter coming up next in just a moment. Don't go away.